This is a follow-up video to a conversation I recently had with Jeff Mara on the Jeff Mara podcast. So if you're coming over after watching that interview, thanks for joining me. I wanted to touch on a couple points that Jeff and I talked about and maybe elaborate on them a little bit more. One was the question he asked me about the association between religion and these kinds of experiences, which are near-death type experiences or mystical experiences. And I had mentioned that my upbringing was in the Hindu tradition. So the question is there a specific relationship between these experiences and a religion? And the simple answer is no, that there are people of all walks of life and all backgrounds that have similar experiences, that describe similar phenomena. So it is not dependent on a religion. And what's further interesting is that these kinds of experiences, or even any related type of experience, can sometimes be seen through the lens of religion. Other people will say, no, it's not religion, it's spirituality, right? And some other people will say, no, it's not really spirituality, it's psychotic experience, right? Or it's a kind of schizophrenia. Or some people will say, no, it's not any of that, it's psychedelically induced, right? Or it's drug-induced state. And the truth is that there is overlap among all of these kinds of experiences. We are the ones who are creating these categories of experience. It's religious, no, it's spiritual, no, it's psychotic, no, it's philosophical, right? These are the inventions of the human mind. These are the walls of the human mind. And too often we kind of park out in a camp and then we say that this is the view that's to be taken. But I think what's much more interesting is to look at the naked experience itself, or the range of experiences. We're not talking about one kind of experience here, right? A range of experiences that suggest to us that the nature of our identity is malleable, that the nature of how we perceive and what we can perceive changes, that even the very nature of the world, what we think this world is, what it's made of, what it represents, that this also can change in different ranges of the mind, right? I think this is very important and has implications, not just for personal introspection, but direct implications in our society in terms of how we see and value religion, how we see and value or think about what we call mental health and mental illness. How much can we really know about these as long as we are only understanding or exploring certain parked domains of the mind? This is a very important question and something that I am dedicating this YouTube channel to, Beyond Mental Health, to look at these questions. And the other thing I want to talk about that goes hand in hand with this is the general narrow-mindedness we see in society when it comes to this. When you talk about either psychedelic experience or especially paranormal experience, generally minds shut down, especially in academia, as if there's no evidence for this. The fact is that there is evidence for such phenomena, but the evidence is often ignored, right? Or we find flaws with the kinds of evidence that we don't like, but we don't look at the flaws in the evidence that we do like. This kind of thing happens often because of the strictly materialist worldview that is often sold to us, right? That essentially that physical reality is the primary reality and what we call mind is itself just some creation of the brain. This kind of narrow-mindedness prevents us from fully understanding these kinds of experiences, from fully understanding what we call mental health and mental illness. This is all to speak to the general narrow-mindedness in society and the kind of groupthink that we often see. So this is to encourage everyone to think for themselves, to experience for themselves. But that also doesn't mean going to one extreme. So this requires a delicate balance between independence, independent thinking, and also understanding what's in the interest of the collective good and balancing these forces. Thanks for joining me here. If you like this kind of thinking, please do like the video and subscribe, and we'll go from there.